Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve
Namaste Saraswate Deve
Gauravani Pracharine
Gauravani Pracharine
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Nirvisesha Sudhavati
Paschatya Deshatarine
Paschatya Deshatarine
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu
Shri Advaita Gadadara
Sri Advaita
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Srivasadi Vrinda
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So today we'll start from 64th verse. This is the fourth question of Chitta Prajna. How a person responds when there is a situation of sense objects in front of him. How does he sit and how does he walk? That is specific questions there. Now, how does he walk? See, when he is walking, when he is in a situation, he has to face the sense object. How he is able to handle the allurements of the sense object. So all of you can repeat after me the verses. Ragadvesha vimukta
Ragadvesha
Vishayan Indriyaischaran Atma Vasher Videyatma Prasadam Adhigachyati. Once again, Ragadvesha Vimukta Vishayan Indriyaischaran Atma Vasher Videyatma Prasadam Adhigachyati. So, Ragadvesha Vimukta. One should become free from the duality of stuff life. Raga, attachment or attraction, Dvesha or detachment. Attachment and detachment. One should be completely free from this duality of life. Vishayan Indriyaischaran. The sense objects and the senses, they are trying to attract each other. So, when you become detached from this attachment and detachment, when you become free from this duality of attachment and detachment, one can have freedom from attachment and aversion and can control his senses. Vishayan Indriyaischaran. So, Indriyas will be looking for sense objects, but one will be able to Atma Vashaihi, will be able to regulate the senses. Videyatma, one who is a controlled person, then Prasadam Adhigachyati, he becomes qualified to receive the mercy of the Lord. Prasadam Adhigachyati. He attains the mercy of the Lord. Prasadam. So this is what mentioned. One who can control his senses, Atma Vasher, by practicing the regulated principles of freedom, Videyatma, can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord, Prasadam Adhigachyati, and thus become free from attachment and aversion. Ragadvesha Vimukta. So, how can a devotee transcend the attachment, which is very difficult thing in this world to overcome this attachment? A devotee may be on the same plane, on the sensual plane, but he has no attachment for sensual activities. The Krishna conscious person is concerned only with satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Even though he will be acting in all the requirements, his whole intention was in supporting the Lord or in activities of the Lord. So that's why he senses, even though they are acting on the sensual platform, because they are engaged in the service of the Lord, he is not carried away by the results of that activities, because it is everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. Then what is this causeless mercy of the Lord? It is said prasadam adhigachyati. What is this prasadam? One obtains that causeless mercy. If Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. So this is the statement. If Krishna desires, even though he is not interested, he will execute that duty. And if Krishna does not desire, even though he is very much attached to it, he does not execute that duty. So that is the differentiation factor here. To act or not act is within his control, because he acts only under the direction of Krishna. So he can decide, even though he is very attached to that subject, but if Krishna does not like it, he does not favor for that subject. Even though sometimes one may be very much detached to that subject or very much not attracted to that subject, but if Krishna likes, he has to execute it. So this consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord. He will be able to withhold himself when there is provocation, and he will be able to execute himself even though there is not much interest in that subject. That is how this Krishna conscious person attains the mercy of the Lord. So next verse, this continuation of this mercy. If you receive that mercy, what happens to you? That is mentioned in this verse here. All of you can repeat. Prasade sarva dukkhanam.
Prasade sarva dukkhanam.
Hanir asyopajayate.
Hanir asyopajayate.
Prasanna chetaso hi aso.
Prasanna chetaso aso.
Buddhi paryavatishtate.
Buddhi paryavatishtate.
Once again, prasade sarva dukkhanam.
Prasade sarva dukkhanam.
Hanir asyopajayate.
Hanir asyopajayate.
Hanir asyopajayate. Prasanna chetaso aso.
Buddhi paryavatishtate.
Buddhi paryavatishtate.
So once they receive this prasade, sarva dukkhanam, he becomes free from the threefold miseries of the life, of material existence. Hanihi asya upajayate. This destruction does not take place. Means the threefold miseries will not be able to have an impact on his consciousness. Prasanna chetasau hi asu. He will be very in a happy state. Prasanna means very satisfied state. Buddhihi paryavatishtate. His intelligence becomes very steady in the process. For one who is situated in the divine consciousness, that is prasade, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. Sarva dukkhanam hanihi asya upajayate. In such a happy state, prasanna chetasau hi aso, one's intelligence soon becomes steady. Buddhihi paryavatishtate. Means one who is received the mercy of the Lord, he is beyond the threefold material miseries. For him, they do not have any impact on his consciousness. See, basically the threefold miseries exist in the platform of duality. So, for the person of Krishna conscious person, one who is situated in this perfect consciousness, the threefold miseries do not bother him at all. He is very happy. He is very blissfully situated. Prasanna chetasaha. He is very comfortable in that state. And his intelligence is very much steady. Because intelligence is the deciding factor which drives him crazy or which drives him satisfied. So because of his receiving that mercy of the Lord, he is able to have that fixed consciousness of intelligence. Okay. So next verse, again all of you can repeat after me. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya.
नास्ति बुद्धिर्युक्तस्य
न चायुक्तस्य भावना
न चायुक्तस्य भावना
न चाभावयतः शान्तिर्
न चाभावयतः शान्तिः
अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्
अशान्तस्य
नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य
नास्ति बुद्धिर्युक्तस्य
न चायुक्तस्य भावना
न चायुक्तस्य भावना
न चाभावयतः शान्तिर्
न चाभावयतः शान्तिः
अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्
अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्.
So yuktasya means one who is engaged. Ayuktasya means one who is not engaged in Krishna consciousness. Na asti buddhihi, he does not have the transcendental intelligence. Na cha ayuktasya bhavana, or one who is not engaged in Krishna consciousness, his mind is not fixed. Na cha ayuktasya, one who is not engaged in Krishna consciousness, bhavana, or his mind is not very much attached. Na, when his mind is, intelligence is not attached, mind is not attached, na cha bhavayata shantir. So one whose mind is not fixed, for him there is no shanti, there is no peace. Ashantasya kutas sukham. When there is no peace, there is no happiness. So one who is not in transcendental consciousness, ayuktasya, can have neither a controlled mind, bhavana, nor steady intelligence, buddhihi, without which there is no possibility of peace. Shantihi, na cha abhavayataha shantihi. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Ashantasya kutas sukham. So if you are engaged in divine consciousness, 64 and 65 verse I have explained, you receive the mercy of the Lord. But if you are not engaged in divine consciousness, you are not happy, you are not peaceful in this life. Your mind is very disturbed, your intelligence is not steady, you will be struggling in this world with all the miseries. That is been mentioned here. The positive part is mentioned in the 64 and 65. The negative part is mentioned here in the 66 verse. Who can have a real peace of mind? So for this, in Bhagavad Gita, the peace formula is explained. Prabhupada explains this in the purport here based on Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, 29th shloka. Bhoktaram yagna tapasham sarva loka maheshwaram suhrudam sarva bhutanam jnatva mam shantim rachati. So he should understand the three principles about the Lord. Bhoktaram yagna tapasham. Lord as the bhokta, or the maintainer or enjoyer of Bhoktaram yagna tapasham sarva loka maheshwaram. For all the yajnas and tapasyas, for all the sacrifices and austerities, Lord is the enjoyer or the receiver, bhokta, maintainer, enjoyer. Then sarva loka maheshwaram. The Lord is the proprietor of all material and spiritual worlds. Suhrudam sarva bhutanam. He is the well-wisher and friend of all living entities. Jnatva mam. Knowing these three principles about the Lord, shantim rachati. He will attain the real peace. The same thing has been communicated here. So disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal, and knowing about Krishna from above shloka with a steady mind brings about peace. So disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal, and knowing about Krishna from above shloka with a steady mind brings about peace. So when you are in anxiety, you will not be very peaceful. But when you know Krishna is the basis and Krishna is the conclusion what you are trying to approach, then one can have complete steady mind, because his mind is only focused on Krishna. And because mind is satisfied and his intelligence is fixed upon the Lord, he will be very peaceful in his life. So Krishna consciousness is a self-manifested peaceful condition which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna. If you are trying to achieve this relationship with matter or material world, one cannot have peaceful consciousness. So peaceful situation. So this can be achieved only when you are perfectly in relationship with Krishna. So that has been explained here. Next. the fickle nature of this world has been explained in this verse. How the senses are very destructive. So all of you can repeat after me. Indriyanam hi charatam.
Indriyana
Indriyanam
Yanmano anuvidiyate.
Yanmanam
Yanmano Yate
Tadasya harati prajnam.
Tadasya
Vayu navam ivambasi.
Vayu
Vayu Ivambasi
Indriyanam hi charatam.
Indriyanam
Indriyanam
Yanmano anuvidiyate.
Yanmanu Anuvidiyate
Tadasya harati prajnam.
Tadasya Prajnam
Vayur navam ivambasi.
Vayuna
Vayu Ivambasi
So like Vayuhu Navam Iva Ambasi. On the water, if there is a Nava, there is a boat. And if there is a heavy wind, the boat gets carried away according to the direction of the wind. Similarly, Indriyanam hi charatam. When the senses are moving around, Yanmano anuvidiyate. If they focus on any one of the specific senses, Tadasya harati prajnam. His intelligence and mind will be diverted towards that one specific sense which has attracted his attention. So like we are walking on the road, you come across a beautiful smell, like a very nice fragrant smell. And actually, you'll try to search where is this smell coming from. So similarly, any one sense focuses on the object, we get carried away by that specific sense. So similarly, as a boat on the water is swept away by a strong wind, Vayur Navam Iva Ambasi, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses, Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano anuvidiyate. Tadasya harati prajnam can carry away a man's intelligence. His prajna or intelligence becomes carried away because mind focuses on one of the senses. It drives him away in that specific direction. So like if when there is a boat and everybody have to be very specific in that boat in doing their specific duties. If somebody is very inattentive in their duty, the boat can get capsized at any moment. Similarly, even if one of the senses is inattentive, then there is havoc in the opportunity, then there is destruction. So better than hopeless defeat, let us struggle and become defeated. Once you perfect in the process, then there will be struggle and victory. And finally, we will come to the stage of effortless victory. See, when you are trying to play any game, generally this is a tendency in any game. Initially, we will not be able to successful because when you are playing with professionals, initially we may be easily be defeated. But later, because of the competitive spirit, we will become struggle and we become defeat. Then third, we become struggle, we try to struggle and we achieve that victory. But when we become professional, it will be an effortless victory in the process. So all of the senses must be engaged in Krishna consciousness. And example of that is given as Maharaj Ambarisha, by which our body, mind, system are under complete control and we will be able to execute perfect Krishna consciousness. This is what the guidance what we get for us from this verse here. So we have to be very attentive that if mind focuses on any one of the sense object or senses, it can drag us away. Our intelligence becomes diverted. So we have to be very careful. Okay, next 68th verse. All of you can repeat after me. So how can one conquer the senses? That is a basic principle here, because the last verse it is saying mind can divert us away. Now how the mind can be regulated or mind can be controlled as explained here. Tasmad yashya mahabaho.
Tasmad yashya mahabahu.
Nigritani sarvashaha.
Nikritani sarvashaha.
Indriyani indriyartebhyaha.
Indriyani indriyartebhyaha.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Tasya prajna pratishtitaha.
Once again, tasmad yashya mahabaho.
Tasmad yashya mahabaho.
Nigrihitani sarvashaha.
Ningrithani sarvashah.
Indriyan indriyartebhyah
Indriyani indriyartebhyah.
tasya prajna pratishtita.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
So tasmat yashya mahabaho, O mighty arm Darshana, nigritani sarvashah, one who is able to, nigritani means regulate or control, one who is able to curb down all around, indriyani indriyartebhyah, the senses and their sense objects, tasya prajna pratishtitah, then he will be able to have steady intelligence. Therefore, tasmat, O mighty armed mahabaho, one whose senses are restrained, indriyani, digritani sarvashah, from their objects, indriyartebhyah, is certainly of steady intelligence. Tasya prajna pratishtita. So in the service of the Lord, if we engage, the senses can be curbed not by any human endeavor, but only by keeping them engaged in the service of the Lord. So this is the simple principle for all of us. When the senses are engaged naturally in the service of the Lord, one can regulate their senses, one can curb down the demands of the senses. So analogy, just as enemies are curbed down by superior force, so one can practice this art under the guidance of Guru. He is called a sadhaka and he is a suitable candidate for liberation. So once we are under the guidance of a Guru, one who is able to practice the above principles of engaging the senses in the service of the Lord, then because of his sincerity and seriousness, he becomes a suitable candidate for liberation and he is considered as a sadhaka, a practitioner. Okay. Next. This verse states about one who has achieved the stage of Sthita Prajna, sense control, is how he is able to regulate his senses naturally. So all of you can repeat after me. Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. Tasyam Jagrati Samyami. Yashyam Jagrati Bhutani. Tanisha Pashyato Mune. Once again, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. Tasyam Jagrati Samyami. Yashyam Jagrati Bhutani. Tanisha Pashyato Mune. So Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam. For those people, what is night? Tasyam Jagrati Samyami. For those intelligent people, that is daytime. Yashyam Jagrati Bhutani. For those who it is daytime, Tanisha Pashyato Mune. For those people, it is night time. What is night for all beings? Yanisha Sarva Bhutanam is a time of awakening for the self-control. Tasyam Jagarti Samyami. And the time of awakening for all beings, Yashyam Jagarti Bhutani, is night for the introspective sage. Tanisha Pashyato Mune. This, for you to understand this example, in the weekend culture, many people go to pubs. What time do they come back after attending these pubs or cinemas or games, anything and all? You have any idea?
3 a.m.
3 a.m. This is 3:30 a.m. is where devotees get up every day morning. So this verse is in that context. It says for materialistic people, what is night starts at around 3:30 or something. But that will be the awakening time for the devotees. 3:34 devotees get up. And what is the time they try to, on the time of awakening for all beings, they get up at around afternoon, somewhere at that time, or they become active at the night, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, they become active for enjoying this world. and at 9 o'clock devotees go to bed. So this is the perspective what is being explained here. So there are two classes of intelligent men: those who are intelligent in material activities for sense gratification, and those who are intelligent in self-realization. So materialistic persons remain asleep in night due to their ignorance of self-realization. They dreams of varieties of sense pleasure, feeling sometimes happy and sometimes distressed in his condition. So, but spiritually awakened people, they feel transcendental pleasure in the gradual advancement of spiritual culture. He is always indifferent to material happiness and distress. He goes on with his self-realization activities undisturbed by material reaction. So this is what a consolidation till now, whatever we have seen. How materialistic people respond and how spiritual people respond for the same situations. So there are four categories of people intelligent, called as busy intelligent, lazy intelligent, busy fool, and lazy fool. Whom do you think is most dangerous in this?
Busy intelligent.
No, most dangerous.
Lazy fool.
Lazy fool, I guess.
Busy fool is the most dangerous person, like a monkey,
Busy
very active,
fool.
very hyperactive, but he is doing all foolish activities. That's why he is very dangerous. So busy fool, lazy intelligent, and busy intelligent and lazy intelligent. The highest is the lazy intelligent, spiritually advanced people. They are not too active. They sit at one place and they try to do meditation and the absorption onto the Lord. They are not too busy to engage their senses because they are naturally engaged in the self-realization. They are of the highest nature. That's why they are called lazy intelligent. Next comes the second category of people, busy intelligent. Then comes lazy fool, then comes busy fool. Then all of you can repeat after me. The nature, conscious nature, how the devotees will be able to handle the various situations in his life. So it is explained in this here. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam.
Apuryamanam
Achalam Pratishtam.
Samudram apa pravishanti yadvat.
Samudram
Pravishanti yadvat.
Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve.
Tadvad kamyam
Pravishanti sarve.
Shashanti mapnoti na kama kami.
Shashanti
Apnoti na kama
Kami.
Apuryamanam achala pratishtam.
Apuryamanam
Achalam Pratishtam.
Samudram apa pravishanti yadvat.
Samudram
Pravishanti yadvat.
Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve.
Tadvat kama pravishanti sarve.
Shashanti mapnoti na kama kami.
Shashanti apnoti na kama kami.
So, apuryamanam achala pratishtam. So, one who is steadily situated, one who is completely full. Samudram apaha. In samudra there is water. Pravishanti yadvat. It will not enter beyond its restriction. Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarva. Similarly, a person who is having unlimited desires, he is not disturbed by the desires. Shashanti mapnoti na kama kami. He is not carried away. A person who is not disturbed by incessant flow of desire. See, in rainy season, all the rivers will be very flow. They will be heavily flowing, but the ocean does not move even 1 inch forward towards the land. So, like it is like that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled, but is always still. Can alone achieve peace and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Nakama kami. Shashanti mapnoti nakama kami. So he can have peace and not the person who is trying to aspire and settle that every desire to be satisfied. He will not be able to have satisfaction in life or peace in his life. The desires may be like unlimited. They may flow like rivers into the ocean, but the ocean is never disturbed. So similarly, a devotee may have unlimited desires being popped up in his mind. He is not carried away by the desire, and he will not endeavor to satisfy those desires. So he will be very peaceful man. This is the highest stage of a person who has achieved Krishna consciousness. So although the vast ocean is always filled with water, but still he will not be carried away by the situation. The devotee will not be carried away. It will not move an inch towards the land. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. So he is satisfied with whatever Lord had sanctioned. So he is very much peaceful and very much contented in his life. So what is the proof of a Krishna conscious man? So desires may come to him like a waves of waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. So one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present, it is not like he has become a rock. All his desires are there, but his inclination to enjoy the sense gratificatory thoughts have been finished. Because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady like the ocean and therefore enjoy full peace. So he is not disturbed by any of these situations and all, because he is very much happy of being engaged in the service of the Lord. So the devotees of Krishna have no material desires, therefore they are in perfect peace. This is what Krishna had updated us, that we have to be very happy and be satisfied because they have no material desires. They are completely peaceful. A mother understands what a child does not say. To a child's ear, mother is magic in any language. This is how the Lord also understands what, even though the devotee may not communicate, the Lord understands what are the requirements of the devotee and he facilitates. Just like a child's requirements are naturally taken care by mother. So similarly, next further glorification. So how does he walk in this material world has been communicated in this, concluded in this verse here. All of you can repeat after me. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan.
Vihaya
Pumam sharati nishpruhaha. Nirmamo nirahankaraha. Shashantim adhigachyati. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan. Pumam sharati nishpruhaha. Nirmamo nirahankaraha. Shashantim adhigachyati. So Vihaya Kaman Yas Sarvan, one who is able to give up all desires, Kaman, which are endeavor towards sense gratification. Pumam Sharati Nishpruhaha, one who is able to walk. Nishpruhaha means it is mentioned as desireless. He is almost like all his desires are there, but he is walking as if he is desireless. Nirmamaha, without any proprietorship. Nirahankaraha, free from false ego. Shashantim adhigachyati, he can have real peace. So how does he walk is a specific question there in the fourth question. So the charity, he will be able to walk as if he is desireless. That is been mentioned here. A person who gives up all desires for sense gratification, Vihaya Kaman Yas Sarvan, who lives free from desires, Pumam Sharati Nishprahaha, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, Nirmamaha, and is devoid of false ego, Nirahankaraha, he alone can attain real peace. Sashantim adhigachyati. So generally to become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification. This is the principle of desirelessness. So desire for satisfaction of Krishna is really desirelessness. Because he knows everything belongs to Krishna, Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam, therefore he does not claim any false proprietorship over anything. So generally all of us say we have come empty-handed, we go empty-handed. So then when we know what is our false proprietorship over something, We have been given a temporary control over certain situations or certain vastus. So after we go away, that vastu will stay. We will go away. We are temporary. That vastu is not temporary. They are more permanent than us, like a land. A land is always there. Before I was born, that land was there. After I died, that land was there. Temporarily, I may say I am the owner of the land, but actually that is a false conception. Because everything belongs to the land. Anything belongs to the Lord. So he is the actual proprietor. I am a temporary proprietor. So this transcendental realization is based on self-realization. Like there is a wallet with the money which has been on the road. How do different types of people respond to this? Generally, what will people do if there is a purse with money? What will they try to do? Hare Krishna.
They loot it.
What do they do?
They loot it.
No,
Some
there is a
people, they loot it.
If you find a purse with a money on the road, what will you do? Will you take it or will you leave it?
We will see his address and phone number. We call them and ask him to take his purse.
Okay, that is one thing. If there is no address or no details, what will you do?
Will hand over in any government department like police station or something else.
Okay, if there is no opportunity of any government department or anything, what will you do?
I'll take it and put it in hundi, Prabhu.
Okay, these are the three categories of things. So if karma is what they try to do is they try to pick up the purse and use for themselves.
Yes.
This is karmi mentality. Jnani mentality is because this purse does not belong to me, let me not touch this purse at all. They try to avoid things because if you take, you become obligated. They don't want to become obligated. They leave the purse there. And he says, it is not my purse. It is none of my concern. This is jnani mentality. A devotee mentality will take up the purse and will try to reach it to its proper owner, or at least the Lord, because if there is no proper owner to claim, then they will go and drop it in the temple hundi. So this is the same terminology, same situation, how a karmi will respond, how a jnani will respond, and how a devotee will respond. Understood?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Next, last verse, which will conclude this chapter and the concept of Sthita Prajna. All of you can repeat after me. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha.
Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha.
Sthiti Partha.
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati.
Nainam Prapya Vimukhyati.
Rahasyam Antakalepi.
Iti Vasyam Takalepi.
Brahma Nirvanam Richyati.
Nirvanam Rishati.
Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha.
Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha.
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati.
Prapya Vimukhyati.
Vasyam Antakalepi.
Rahasyam Antakalepi.
Brahma Nirvanam Richyati.
Brahma Nirvanam Rishati.
So for those who are situated in this consciousness, Esha Brahma Sthiti Partha, O Arjuna, Nayenam Prapya Vimuhyati. They are not bewildered. Vimuhyati means bewildered. So they are not bewildered by this materialistic situation. Sthitavasyam Antakalepi. Because they are fixed up in their consciousness, even at the time of their death, Antakalepi. Because they are very much fixed up on the Lord, Brahma Nirvanam Richyati. They attain to the spiritual world, the personal abodes of the Lord. So this is what is stated here. This is the way of the spiritual and godly life. Esha Partha, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. After attaining which a man is not bewildered. Na enam prapya vimuhyati. Being so situated, Sthitavasyam, even at the hour of death, Antakalepi, one can enter Richyati into the kingdom of God, Brahma Nirvanam. So how much time does it take for one to attain that stage? So in Bhagavatam, examples are given like Katvanga Maharaj. He was only given the time of one muhurta. One muhurta means 48 minutes. So when he got to know Katvanga Maharaj was a very great king on this world, so he was engaged as a commander-in-chief for Devata. So he was fighting many battles. Because of one long battle, he became victorious. Then at the last moment, he had asked the demigods. The demigods had asked him, what benediction do you want? Then he had asked them, how much time is left over for me in my life? They said, there is only one muhurta left over for you. So he immediately leaves everything, comes into the altar of his house, sits in front of his deity, focuses upon the deity, and quits his body and goes back home, back to Godhead. So 48 minutes is of very minimum time for us. So even in that 48 minutes time, he was able to focus on the Lord and go back to the Lord. So similarly, Parikshit Maharaj, he was given 7 days time. So when this example was quoted by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, saying that, see, in 48 minutes, Katvanga Maharaj was able to achieve perfection. So for you, 7 days, it is too much time. Do not get disturbed. Do not become fearful. It is very good opportunity for you to focus upon the Lord. So for one who is devoted, so time is not the perspective. He can become fixed up in very short time also. But for one who is not a devotee, not after billions of births also, he cannot attain the Lord. So it is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact about devotion service. So there is a difference of stage called Nirvana and Brahma Nirvana. Nirvana is the stage where Buddhist philosophy says. So what does that Nirvana mean? It is the ending the process of materialistic life. Buddhist philosophy says there is only void after the completion of this material life. But Bhagavad Gita teaches us actual life begins after the completion of this material life. The spiritual life, the real life starts there. So devotion service of the Lord is accepted in Bhagavad Gita as the liberated stage. That is the Brahma Nirvana stage. Even though one may be in the body, because he is practicing devotion service, he is liberated, Jivan Muktaha, from this bodily concept of life, and he is a liberated personality. So for that, this Bhakti Yoga principle is given for us an opportunity. It includes 9 stages: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Satyam, Atma Nivedam. Can any of you explain who is the perfected personality in Shravanam?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Hearing is Parikshit Maharaj. Kirtanam?
Sukadeva Goswami.
Shukadeva Goswami. Smaranam?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj. Padasevanam?
We can take Lakshmi Devi.
Lakshmi Devi. Archanam?
Akrura Prabhu.
Sutu Maharaj. Vandanam? Vandana means offering prayers. This is Akrura. Dasyam?
Hanuman.
Hanumanji. Sakyam?
Arjuna.
Arjuna. Atma Nivedanam?
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj, because he had offered completely himself. So he became perfect in that process. In that way, this Navavida Bhakti, and completely all the principles are satisfied by Ambarish Maharaj. So what is the kingdom of God? So before ending this life, if one fortunately becomes Krishna conscious, he at once attains the stage of Brahma Nirvana, where he goes to Vaikuntha, where he personally will be able to associate with the Lord and engage in his service. That is the kingdom where there are no material anxieties, no material distresses, there is no birth, no death there. There is no light of sun or moon there. It is naturally, brilliantly bright. Everything is conscious there. That are the qualities of the spiritual world, kingdom of God. So one becomes Krishna conscious, then one becomes perfected in this life and can go back home, back to God. So any questions? Hare Krishna, any questions please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
I'm Radharani Prabhu. I have joined newly to the class, Prabhu. I'm actually doing sadhana of sadhana, Prabhu. But sometimes we'll be getting distracted to this material things, Prabhu. Can you say anything how to stop these distractions, like, Prabhu?
Mataji, this situation is there for all of us because temporarily we become carried away by material circumstances. But at that circumstances, we have to decide what is my spiritual duty and what is my material responsibility. Because two things are there. Are you married?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, because there is a family, there is a family responsibility is there for you.
Yes, Prabhu.
There are certain circumstances where when you have to practice your bhakti principle, some emergency in the family comes.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
at that time, how do you respond? Which one will give priority to your bhakti activity or to your family responsibility?
I'll take both of them, Prabhu.
You understand, but there is one emergency. You are chanting and somebody suddenly your son or somebody has become sick.
Yeah.
Can you engage chanting nicely at that time when somebody is sick in front of you?
No,
So that
Prabhu.
is, the circumstances will be there. But only thing is we should pray to the Lord that we will be able to handle both very nicely. We are saying because we have accepted the responsibility of being a parent or a wife or a daughter, we have to do our responsibilities there. So similarly, we have to manage both lives simultaneously. This is what Krishna consciousness is teaching us.
Okay, Prabhu.
Then okay, all of you, thank you very much. We'll meet again next week.
Hare
We'll
Krishna.
start the Darshan.
Namaste. Namaste.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.